Hey, welcome to Screenplay Junkie. My name's Drew Hellmich, and I'm a screenwriter. Film is a pretty sweet medium of art. However, before anything can make it to the big screen, it must start as a blueprint, text on paper. So if you're a fellow addict of film and storytelling, come join us as we take a look at various types of screenplays, short stories, and other source material that were crucial to the creation of the stories that we all love. I must warn you, though, there will be spoilers, so I do recommend being familiar with the title that's being discussed. Sound good? Cool. Then let's get started. Bryan, what's going on, guys?
Hey, what's going on, Drew?
Yo, what's going on?
Guys?
Hellmich Brothers here for episode 17 of Screenplay Junkie, and today we're going to be talking about the Netflix original series Stranger Things, created by brothers Matt and Ross Duffer.
Yeah, I just want to say, too, that the fact that we chose to do this pilot episode, I now have to watch the entire series again because I'm hooked.
Oh.
Because I watched the pilot, I watched
again.
it this morning, and now I'm just like, all right, great. Now here goes, like 20 hours of my life?
You need to watch the remainder of what happens in Stranger Things.
Yeah, I mean, I know I've seen season one. I've seen it twice when it came out. It came out in 2016, so it's been a while.
Right.
But season two, I only watched one time, so I definitely want to rewatch that one. So I'm excited for that.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, okay.
But yeah, that we mentioned Matt and Ross, the Duffer Brothers, right? Who else can you guys think of that are brothers or siblings in Hollywood that create stuff together?
Because it is cool to see brothers, right, just like us, being successful in the movie industry. For
Exactly.
Sure. Off the top of my head, Coen Brothers.
Coen Brothers. Fairley Brothers.
Yeah, they did, what, Dumb and Dumber?
Dumb and Dumber,
Okay.
yep. Wachowski Brothers.
Right.
The Wachowskis.
Yeah, we'll just call them the Wachowskis now.
Yeah.
They did The Matrix.
Right.
Who else? Anybody?
I mean, there's a ton of them.
That's really all I got.
I don't know, me and you were talking about it earlier, and I feel like we had a few more. But regardless, it's really cool to see. Here it's just two brothers, Matt and Ross Duffer.
Yeah.
Succeeded with their show, so that's pretty dope. Hopefully, we can maybe corral some energy together and get something made together pretty soon.
I think we could do it. I don't know why we wouldn't.
We'll keep trying.
Yeah. But you mentioned that you want to watch season 2 again, right?
I have to. Well, I mean, I'm going to rewatch season 1, and then I'll get to season 2.
Because I can remember...
Season 3 comes out
yeah, that's right.
July 4th.
Yep, July 4th,
Yeah, this
2019.
year. Real soon.
Yeah. Because I remember...
Like,
Go ahead, Bryan.
what's going to happen? I don't know. It's just like, I can argue that season 3, I feel like it's just so one season. That's really... I love season 2, but just like what Will's going to go into the Upside Down again.
Yeah, I don't know, man.
We don't know.
You know?
I feel like the Upside Down is going to start peeling into our world. I feel like that's where the show's going. But they did say, I'll just say this now. I was going to mention it in trivia, but they're rumored to be a season 4 too. So don't expect it to stop here in season 3.
God.
Yeah, I know. The actors and the kids are going to be like 30 by the time we're done here.
Because I liked season 1 a lot. I remember when it came out, and probably binged it in 2 days, which some of you out there are probably saying, I binged that one day. What the hell are you talking about?
Yeah, it was 2 days for me too. No doubt.
But I love this show, just the atmosphere and the nostalgia of the 80s. I mean, none of us grew up in the 80s, but we grew up loving just everything 80s. And
I love the kid aspect.
The kid aspect, yeah. Like the Goonies,
So relatable.
the Monster
Yeah,
Squad,
yeah.
like
It's
all those
awesome.
types of movies. Stand By
Don't
Me.
forget about the musica.
The music is dope.
Yep.
I agree. Absolutely. That title sequence is just, those feels right there.
We got to give you some credit here,
Yeah.
Bryan, too, because we know you kind of remixed, not necessarily remixed, made your
Yeah,
own
absolutely.
kind of Stranger Things type
Yeah,
theme
that's-
song for our episode this week. So thanks for doing that.
That was
Yeah,
the clip-
Bryan.
That was the clip at the beginning, yeah. No problem.
Thanks,
Gotta
Bryan.
give you a shot.
That was pretty sweet, man. I wanted to come back to season 2 because what did you guys think about season 2?
It's the same thing as season 1, and like
Same thing,
I need to
dude. That's the
rewatch
same.
it because it's been a while. But man, I was disappointed. I thought things moved at a different pace.
I was very disappointed.
Things didn't gel together as much, and yeah, it was just kind of like the same thing again. Like how about
The monster's
in
cool.
season 1 she
Love the
communicates with
monster.
Will. Sorry, Bryan, with the Christmas lights, right?
Yes.
And then in season 2, it's like the same exact thing, but it's with like the drawings. Remember that? It's just like, come on, guys.
Yeah.
Come on, Duffer Brothers.
I didn't care for season 2 at all. I was actually pretty pissed off about it. So with season 3 coming out, it's got a lot to hold up to.
Interesting to see where it goes.
Pretty much, for me at least.
Yeah, I mean, season 2, like, it's more like we're bashing it because we were disappointed just because we love season 1 so much. We'll see what they do season 3, apparently season 4. We'll see what they got. I mean, we got months to wait before we get there.
Yeah, right.
And Game of Thrones comes out first, so I gotta get through that before I can get through this. So we've been kind of mentioning season 3, right? The only thing we really know about it so far is that they released the episode titles. So I'm gonna go ahead and read those for you guys now. Episode 1 is called "Susie, Do You Copy?" Then it's "The Mall Rats." After that, it's "The Case of the Missing Lifeguard." Ooh. And then it's "The Sauna Test." Like a sauna, right? A sauna is like a steam room or something, right?
Yeah, totally.
Hot room? All right, yeah. Then the next one's called "The Source." Then after that, it's "The Birthday." Then we got "The Bite." And last but not least, "The Battle of Starcourt," which sounds the most interesting. Yeah, that one sounds cool.
There better be a sweet battle.
The Battle of Starcourt.
I mean, I'm all about the missing lifeguard, though. I'm curious.
Yeah, it's like, what happened to the lifeguard?
I'm more concerned about the kids swimming in the pool.
How many people drowned now? What are the numbers on that? Yeah, the poor town of what's the town called again? Here we got
Hawkins,
Indiana.
Hawkins.
Yep.
Poor town, just lifeguardless. My God.
Is Hawkins factual?
No, it's fictional.
It's fictional, yeah.
Okay.
But the title of the town where it took place in the screenplay is a real place. But we'll get there in a second.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right, let's get into the script info. So, originally, when the Duffer Brothers were pitching this pilot, it was not called Stranger Things.
No,
which
sir.
I'm curious to find out how that title became to be known. Originally, the title of the show was going to be called Montauk, which is actually a town in New York.
Can you spell that for everybody?
Montauk.
Right. It's a town in New York, on close to the coast. So far east side, we're talking.
So we got Montauk by the Duffer Brothers. There's no date on this script, so we have no idea when this was written. And it comes in at 64 pages, which if you compare that to the pilot episode that is on Netflix...
48 minutes.
48 minutes. So that means they had to chop off, I don't have quick math, about 15 pages or so.
Right. Well, what I noticed, too, is I had the script up next to me as I was watching the pilot episode on Netflix. A lot of the dialogue pages, they just thump through them in like 20 seconds. Just because the lines are read so quickly. So I feel like that's why maybe it was stretched to 63 pages. Also, as we'll talk about later, there were some extra scenes in the original script that were not in the original episode.
Yes.
So that added
Not that many,
to
though.
cutting the time down.
But then again, this one was another just pretty identical screenplay to what we see.
Yeah, for majority.
Yep. Just like Get Out, very very similar to the script. The movie was, or in this case, the show.
The show, yes.
Right, and this is the first show that we've reviewed on this, so this will be interesting.
Yeah, it was cool to read a script of a pilot episode of a show. Very cool to read. Different.
Yeah, it is different.
Different than a movie. Yeah.
Matt, would you please fill us in on the IMDb info, please?
Yeah, you got it. So the series was dropped on Netflix on July 15th, 2016, all right? This is the log line that it was released under. When a young boy disappears, his mother, a police chief, and his friends must confront terrifying forces in order to get him back.
Ooh.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Yeah, that's a good one.
It's a good one.
That's a good one.
Right,
Really
so
good.
this show, Stranger Things, was created by Matt Duffer and Ross Duffer Brothers, as we mentioned earlier. Starring in the show is Millie Bobby Brown as 11.
Wait, hold on a second. Do we actually? Do you guys know what Millie Bobby Brown's favorite song is?
No, what is it?
What is it?
All right. So there's Winona Ryder plays Joyce, Will Byers' mom. Will Byers is played by Noah Schnapp. Noah Schnapp, that's a good name. Then David Harbour plays Jim Hopper, the cop. Finn Wolfhard is Mike Wheeler. Gaten Mazzaro plays Dustin. Caleb McLaughlin plays Lucas. Then we got Natalia Dyer plays Nancy. Charlie Heaton plays Jonathan. And that about covers all the main characters.
I just want to say...
Shout out to Matthew Modine for playing Dr. Martin Brenner.
That's true. I just want to say Finn Wolfhard being in Stranger Things definitely is what put him in It.
To be honest,
which is a really good movie.
Ooh, I'm gonna have to leak this. He actually, this is a trivia item. He actually got casted to be in It before being in Stranger Things. Yeah, and the only reason he was able to be in both was because It was delayed.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Pretty cool.
Which we might do It in the future. So, spoiler.
He's got a sweet name.
Yeah.
Finn Wolfhard. Yeah, it's an awesome name. He was destined for success with a name like that.
Don't let us down, Finn.
All right, guys, want to get in the trivia?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, so in season 1, the budget per episode in Stranger Things was $6 million. How much do you think it went up for season 2?
God.
How much?
You already told me, so
It went up to $8 million. So not that much of an increase.
Okay.
Each episode?
Yeah, $8 million. So
yeah, you got to think they made, what was it, Get Out for $2 million or like 200,000?
Like $3 million.
Yeah, I thought it was 5.
Yeah, it was cheap.
$5 million. But anyways, the main kids of the show,
feature
right?
film versus feature.
The main kids of the show that auditioned to be in the show, the lines they read to be in the show were actually lines from E.T. the Extraterrestrial, a movie from 1982. It was a scene, like a specific scene, and all the kids had to read the scene, and like that's actually how they got their parts in Stranger Things.
Did the lines they have to read, were they just E.T.'s lines, or?
For a second, I almost took that question seriously. I was thinking really hard. I was like, man, like what did E.T. say in that movie?
Just E.T. falling home.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I'm glad we brought that up just because Stranger Things itself is based on a ton of 80s movies. Like, there's so many references and influences here in Stranger Things of all these 80s movies. So,
right.
E.T., that's one to mention right away.
Yeah.
Another one I want to mention right now is Firestarter, okay? This is a movie based on a Stephen King novel, and it's a girl that has telekinetic powers, and every time she uses them, her like nose bleeds and stuff.
Drew Barrymore.
Just like 11,
Wow.
yeah, it's Drew Barrymore, and the government is pursuing her to use her as a weapon.
Okay.
And the Duffer Brothers admitted right away, huge influence for them. Like, a lot of 11 is based on the movie and the book Firestarter.
All right, that makes sense.
Yeah, take inspiration from a lot of things, a lot of ideas.
Mm-hmm.
It's fun, greatly.
I want to know, like, what their process of that was. Did they just get out a notebook and say, hey, we like this, hey, we like that, we like this, and this is what we're going to pull from it? I mean, because that's what good writers do. You take things that work in other items and you steal from them. Like, you don't blatantly steal from, you steal what...
Ideas,
and a component. You steal a component and make it your own, essentially.
Like they stole the concept of a telekinetic girl being chased by the government.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they made it their own, and it's obviously been very, very successful. You hit it right on the head. Good writers do that.
Yes.
So, like we're saying, these good writers, these Duffer Brothers, they took tons of stuff from 80s movies. So they did a lot from Steven Spielberg. So I mentioned E.T. Another movie is Close Encounters of the Third Kind. A lot of this, they took communicating, right, using lights and things. Will communicating with his mom, that's what they took from that.
Yeah.
Poltergeist, communicating through the TV in Poltergeist. They used things like that for the phone.
Cool.
Let's see. This is pretty crazy. The Hawkins Police Department, like the outfit that Hopper wears in the show, it's identical to the outfit that the officers wore in Jaws 2.
That's just ridiculous.
And if you think back, like if you watch both movies, you'll see they're exactly the same.
Did they purposely do that, or just like they're so time based?
It's pretty weird. That's like a lot of attention to detail to like have.
This is like obsessive.
Yeah.
Exactly. So no, I'm gonna keep going. There's other stuff here. Other 80s movies that were highlighted. I don't have specific examples, but the movies are The Evil Dead, Nightmare on Elm Street.
Evil Dead, there was a poster in Will Byers' room.
Right, exactly. And then another movie I have to highlight is Predator.
Cool.
Predator, because Police Chief Jim Hopper in the show, David Harbour's character, he's named after the character that Arnold Schwarzenegger first goes looking for in Predator. Arnold and his crew are sent to go find Jim Hopper. Right? And something else that's from Predator. Hawkins was the first soldier to die in Predator. And guess what? This film, or rather this TV show, takes place in Hawkins, Indiana.
And guess who plays Hawkins? Shane Black. If you know who he is, he's a very prominent writer and director.
And he wrote Predator, yeah. Oh, he did not?
Well, the most recent Predator movie he wrote.
Oh, sorry. He wrote the most recent Predator. Right?
Yeah.
But he did write Lethal Weapon.
Okay.
Lethal Weapon,
Yeah, dropping some knowledge. All right, cool. So, another guy really influenced the creators of Stranger Things, and that's John Carpenter. The biggest thing for him is the music, the scores, the electronic, the synths. Stranger Things like really opened up a lot of doors, I feel like, for scores of movies that are using those kind of 80s vibes again.
Dude, I love it.
You hear that a lot, in new movies and stuff. So that's pretty cool.
Start making some synth, Bry.
Cool. The last like 80s movies reference I have actually is from season 2 in Stranger Things. If you remember, Hopper is like getting dragged out of one of those tunnels in season 2, but he like reaches back and makes sure to grab his hat before leaving, and that's like an Indiana Jones reference.
Okay.
I won't leave without my hat. That type of thing.
I mean, I'm sure there's aliens references have to be in there. Like what I'm imagining is the creature and like the kind of stuff that it makes. Like, remember at the end of season 1?
Secreting that stuff.
Yeah, where he's, like, stuck in that stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
That's a total alien reference.
Aliens and Alien, I was thinking of right away in the pilot episode when that opening scientist is running, and we don't know what he's running from, and he's in the elevator, the doors won't close, and then he just gets dragged up by, like, some creature or whatever it might be.
Yeah.
It immediately made me think of Aliens, like, one of those big xenomorphs just coming at you, dragging you up.
Yeah.
It's Burke, right?
Burke.
Oh, yeah, Burke. Yeah, Burke's in season 2.
That's right.
What's his name? Paul
Sean
Reiser?
Astin. Yeah, Paul Reiser, and then Sean Astin, who was in the Goonies, is also in season 2.
Yeah,
right?
dude, that's what it was. I'm totally about in season 2.
Nice, Bryan.
And Sean Astin, he was a Hobbit in Lord of the Rings, and there's so many Lord of the Rings references too, and he's in Stranger Things. So there's just references everywhere. The Duffer Brothers, they love movies, and apparently they love putting other movies into their shit.
That's crazy, man.
So 80s movies weren't the only thing that inspired Stranger Things. In an interview back in 2016, the Duffer Brothers admitted that they were inspired by anime films, ones that specifically explored things like the Upside Down, things that you can do in cartoons like that.
Okay.
Did you say anime films?
Yeah, anime, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Another thing that they were allegedly inspired, that's the terminology I have here for my source. Allegedly, they were inspired by the mysterious Montauk project of the early 1980s. So apparently there was this very suspicious military governmental project going on in Montauk, New York, where the screenplay is supposed to take place.
That's cool.
This is what was believed to have been studied at this Montauk project.
Oh, dude, let's hear it.
Psychological warfare. Time travel.
Ooh.
Oh, and if time travel wasn't enough, interdimensional travel. Boom, interdimensional travel, Stranger Things. Right?
Upside down. Boom.
Yep.
Oh, 100%.
And the last thing that I have here
insane.
that was like a big like influence from them that wasn't a movie was, I guess, these video games called Silent Hill.
Okay.
Apparently they got a really big influence for what the Upside Down would be from those video games.
Oh, wow.
So this is just years of an idea brewing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think so, yeah.
That's
Real
crazy.
quick, I still got some more trivia stuff, so bear with me. I got some quick facts on the creators of the show and the cast.
Quick facts.
The Duffer Brothers originally wanted to direct the remake of Stephen King's It that we all know came out like a year or two ago, but they were turned down. And
Experience,
like
probably.
I said earlier, Finn Wolfhard, who plays Mike in Stranger Things, he was already attached to play Richie in It before Stranger Things cast him. Okay. Let's see here. So 11. Remember when they give her the outfit, like in the wig, at that one point?
Yeah.
Apparently, it's supposed to look just like E.T.'s
E.T.,
disguise.
Yeah.
In E.T. 1982. All right, this is a nugget here. I love this. Millie Bobby Brown actually had her head shaved for the role, right? She had to.
Yeah.
And her mother filmed it like during the haircut session with a camcorder or phone or whatever. And her father was so traumatized by this event that he was crying. He was sobbing, and he couldn't bear to watch.
What?
Yeah, and there's like a video on YouTube of her hair getting cut and her like father just crying.
Okay.
Like, yeah.
Sorry, guy.
Yeah, right?
That doesn't make any sense, man. It'll grow back.
Yeah.
Millie's like all okay with it.
Yeah, she was the mother and Millie herself were fine with it, and the father was just traumatized.
All right.
Oh, this is good. So Chief Hopper's, the police guy's trailer that they show in the pilot episode where he lives, it cost the art department $1 to buy that trailer. Because it was such a piece of shit.
Yeah. Nice.
So the studio loved that, I'm sure. The producers were just like, yes. $1? Yes.
Yeah, we'll give you $2.50.
This is pretty funny here. Winona Ryder had no idea what Netflix was when they like asked her to be in it.
Are you kidding me?
She claimed she had no idea what streaming was, or like, she's like, oh, I'm really a late bloomer with technology.
She's still fucking watching VHS tapes, probably.
Who knows, man?
She's still watching like Edward Scissorhands.
That's actually ridiculous.
She only watches movies she was in.
Maybe she's just been locked in the attic with like Beetlejuice
Yeah, I was
for
about
about
to
20
say
years,
that.
and she's just been hid from technology.
Dude, that doesn't make any sense, Winona Ryder.
That's weird, yeah. You'll like this one, Drew. The twin actresses, so there were twin girls who play Holly Wheeler, Mike's youngest sister. She's like a 2 or 3 year old little blonde
who
girl.
doesn't do anything.
So the two twins that play that little girl are the same 2 twins who played the original baby Judith in season 4 of The Walking Dead.
Oh my god.
So these child actors, they've been at it since like they were like 3 months old. So these kids, they're just going to be seasoned by the time they're like 15.
Premium
My gosh.
talent.
Get them on
Premium
Disney Channel,
talent.
Nickelodeon, Disney Channel. Watch out. These kids are coming.
Like the baby, they've been through it all. They've been through flesh-eating zombies, demogorgons.
Yeah, for real.
What's next?
They can take on anything. And I'm glad you just said demogorgons because, according to Dragon Magazine, the Demogorgon is considered the most powerful villain in the first edition of Advanced Dungeons and Dragons. It rules as a demon prince of the abyss, an ever-changing plane of chaotic evil.
Okay.
I mean,
I don't know.
I had to look up what it was. Like, come on.
shout out Dungeons and Dragons. I played the game on my PS4. It was fun.
Oh, there's a PS4 game?
Oh, you played it? I've never played it.
I feel like I played Skyrim, and that's just like
Yeah, Skyrim,
that's just like
yeah,
real.
exactly.
It was like
That's
it's
modern
like a-
day Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and that actually wraps up the trivia. That's all I got. That was
All right.
long, but
Yeah, that was a lot. No,
It was
but
good.
that was good. Yeah,
It was good.
It was engaging. All right, let's get into the script now. We're just going to reiterate really quickly that the screenplay and pilot episode are basically identical.
Yeet.
And actually what we found, which we stated earlier, was that in the pilot script, it was actually structured in 5 acts, which I believe this is normal for television to do. I'm not really sure because I've read other pilots like American Horror Story, Breaking Bad, and
First pilot I've ever read, so I can't say either
Yeah.
way. But I thought it was cool. I thought it was really helpful for the reader to be like, okay, Act 1,
Yeah.
Act 2, like
It was okay. It broke pretty well. It's like and like a good like climax or something. Whatever the.
yeah, it was a good way to like break stuff down and isolate specific events.
Yeah.
But
Chapter.
I've seen it only in Stranger Things, and I've seen it in American Horror Story. So this must be a normal thing that you do in television writing.
right. Good to know. Good to know.
So the first episode in the show is called Chapter 1, The Vanishing of Will Byers. Here it's just called Montauk the Pilot. Like we said earlier, the show takes place in Hawkins, Indiana, where the script is in Montauk, New York. And in the show, it's called the Hawkins National Laboratory, U.S. Department of Energy. So it's kind of like a cover-up, right?
Yeah.
People don't know what it is exactly.
We are not testing on small children here. We are just trying to make petroleum.
And in the screenplay, it's called Camp Hero. So people are aware that this is a military base.
Camp Hero.
Camp
Ah.
sounds like a summer camp.
Yeah, exactly. It's so positive. It's such a positive name. Camp Hero. Yeah. All right.
Now, let's start this discussion with the opening scene, you guys. I want to talk about the script first, okay? So in the screenplay, the lab scene is much more violent. Would you agree with that?
Right, yeah,
Yes.
where everything starts. You're just opening, like
Right.
the show, the screenplay both open
It's just a guy.
with one man
Yes.
running from we don't know what. Right?
Exactly.
And in the screenplay, it's way more gruesome, right? Because he has one arm
Yes.
and he's just got like blood all over him. And they show like bodies on the ground, right? Didn't they mention that?
Yeah, we get like a glimpse of another room. And there's other dead scientists in there
Everywhere.
with just limbs just missing. We also get some detail that the scientist who is alive, that he's wearing a hazmat suit that's like melting off of him apparently.
Yeah, they said his
Remember
skin
that?
was like melting too.
Yes.
Yeah.
So the Demogorgon, we know like because we've watched the show. We know it was the Demogorgon, but like, wow, in the show we don't see anything like that where like skin is melting.
Right. In the show, you just see this guy run away. He goes to an elevator. He's waiting.
The doors just won't close on
right.
the elevator.
And then he gets pulled up and dies. In the screenplay, this guy just has his arm gone, and then he dies. There is no presence of the creature that we know. We have no idea what's going on.
But some mystical force is very evident. Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely.
And there's also a fire, which, because at the end of the laboratory scene, we focus in on some sprinklers. And this is a craft note that I wanted to bring up that I'm praising the Duffer Brothers for. Just something to learn from for a writing technique is smooth transitions between your scenes, because at the end of the laboratory scene, it's described as like the hissing of the sprinklers turning on to put out this fire, and then we transition immediately to the hissing of sprinklers in a neighborhood.
Right.
Just watering grass.
Yeah, and it'd be like Mike's and all the kids' neighborhood. Yeah.
Right.
And that's something that really reminded me of something you brought up to me earlier, Drew. It's writing, thinking of your writing as like kind of how an editor would go through.
Exactly.
Right? And that's exactly what the example you just said. You know, editing from the sprinkler of this horrible, horrible location where people are dead, limbs are everywhere, to a sprinkler of the same type at just a normal, nice neighborhood that looks safe.
Smooth, fluid transitions, yes.
There's a term for it. I remember learning it in one of my classes. I remember. It's like framing. I think it's like you take an overlaying and then they fade it into something that's alike.
Oh, okay.
Oh yeah, dude, totally.
Yeah.
I agree with that.
I remember.
That's definitely a good tool.
It may come to me.
I agree. So now that we've transitioned over to the hissing of the sprinklers, this is when we meet all of our kids, Will, Mike, Lucas, and Dustin.
And they're playing Dungeons and Dragons.
Right.
Just nerding out to the max.
Nerd out, dude.
Pretty similar scene, right? You know, we get, it's actually really, really tense. In the show, in the screenplay, it's a very tense scene, even though what they're doing is completely imaginary.
Yeah, both really capture that very well.
Yes.
They love the game. They love it.
And
oh yeah,
towards the end of that scene, we understand that Will has to face the Demogorgon, right? And he either has to throw a fireball at it, who Lucas is saying, or he needs to put up a spell of
a protection spell.
Protection spell that Dustin is really wanting him to do, and he ultimately decides to do a fireball, and he has to roll what was it, higher than a 13 or something?
Right, yeah.
But he doesn't. But he doesn't get that. So what that means is that the Demogorgon kills his character in Dungeons and Dragons.
Yes.
Dungeons and Dragons, right?
Yes, because as I said earlier, the Demogorgon is the most powerful being apparently that you can come across in your Dungeons and Dragons quest or whatever
realm.
Which brings me to another interesting craft note that I like, is that the parallel between Will getting killed by the Demogorgon in Dungeons and Dragons. Jesus, I cannot pronounce Dungeons and Dragons here.
Just go ahead, try again. It's all right.
No, it's okay.
The alliteration.
And then later on, when he rides his bike home, that he gets taken by the creature, which the kids term as the Demogorgon, right?
Yeah.
Wasn't that pretty cool? I thought that was cool.
Really cool.
No, yeah, I like it. The connection to Dame and just all well connected to each other. Like, oh, this can tie here, this can tie there.
Yeah,
And
again.
I think even in the show, like Dustin's like, I knew he should have used this move or something.
He said he should have done the protection spell, right?
Yeah, the protection spell, yeah. Right.
Something interesting I just want to bring up is that in the script, well, actually, here, let's start with the show. In the show, right before Will leaves Mike's house, he tells him, the Demogorgon got me, I rolled a 7, right? He admits that his roll wasn't high enough to beat the Demogorgon. In the script, he never mentions that.
Right.
And I just really liked how he admitted it, because then he admits that he lost, and then he rides his bike home, and he vanishes from the Demogorgon.
Yeah, I like the show better. The show version did it better, I thought.
Yeah.
All right, cool. So we're going to skip forward now to when Will Byers is missing. And this is a point in the show where Will's mom, Winona Ryder's character, she's on the phone, I think, trying to call her ex-husband to get a hold of him to see if he knows where Will is.
That's right.
And in the show here, we have a very short camera shot of the government facility. It's like a room where they're monitoring the entire town's phone calls. So we hear conversations from people all across town, and then we just shift to Will Byers' his mom's conversation, and then we just get back into their home. And then we never go back to this shot of the government spying on them. But it's just pretty crazy that this whole government presence is watching everyone in town at this point.
Yeah, we just get that little sliver of knowledge.
I don't know. Maybe it's not doing that like daily basis, or this is when 11 has escaped, and I know they were probably listening. And
11's already escaped.
Calls.
That's
calls.
Yeah, Brian. I think
the
that's
child services. That's probably when they have the information that he's at the diner.
I think that's what they're trying to do.
That's what they're
Brian,
hinting. Yeah, absolutely.
Mhm.
It's just crazy. I mean, that's a lot of effort.
No,
That's a lot of
I
manpower.
100% agree. It's definitely spooky to think about.
Right, but did you already say that this was not in the screenplay, right? Did we say
Yeah,
that?
so this element wasn't in the screenplay at all. You didn't know at this point that the government was watching everyone's phone calls. You did not know.
Wow.
Something else I just want to mention too, in the show, we see in the pilot, we see the portal that we find out later
Yeah,
that
that's
11 opened the portal, right?
Yeah.
Using her powers on accident, whatever it might be. But we see the portal. We see all the weird formations, the black, you know what I'm talking about?
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
They called it mold in the script. And
Yeah, mold, yeah.
I kind of agree with that. But yeah, it's like
I like that
pulsating,
term.
it's growing. We see it in episode 1 in the Netflix show. In the pilot, we do not hear anything about a portal. So I just wanted to mention that.
Right.
And I'm sure they had that idea. They probably just had it in the next episode or something. So
Yeah, true.
they workshopped it around.
I can imagine it being pretty tough when it comes to writing a series because you're like, okay, when do we release this portion?
Exactly.
So,
Yeah,
That's what I was thinking, Brian.
Mm-hmm. because you have to hide things from your audience to create that
yeah, it
suspense.
seems tough.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Cool. So this one's a lighter note. Same thing. I just want to point something out that's different because there really aren't that many differences here. In the screenplay, or actually here, let's start with the show again. In the show, when Eleven shows up at that burger shack, she's eating a burger and fries, right? That's what
Yeah.
the guy gives her. What a nice guy. It's
Dude, that's
such a
such a sad
shame.
part, man.
Such a shame that he gets offed so quickly.
I know. I like that guy.
But in the screenplay, when Eleven shows up at the restaurant, she starts eating raw fish, just biting it from the freezer.
Yummy.
And could you imagine Millie Bobby Brown being told, all right, here's a fish, take a bite, let's go. Roll the camera, roll action.
I wonder how her dad
would
would've felt about
your
it.
Head, but now eat this fish.
Yeah, the dad, I'm sure, put his foot down or whatever. Yeah, and they canceled that, so they gave her a burger and fries. A lot easier to film that than raw fish.
I
She's
also,
actually a vegan though in real life. Nah, I made that up.
I just wanted to bring up a quick nitpick that I had with this particular scene.
Yeah,
So this,
I agree with you on this too, 100%.
so this is after Benny, the guy who owns the diner, or works at the diner, after he gets killed after after the woman who's
Fake social services.
yeah, the fake social services
Your
woman.
voice sounded different on the phone. Boom.
Yeah, so she pops him in the head, and then all the agents pour into the diner. My nitpick here is that the agents should know, or not even they should know, they know what 11 is capable of with her telekinetic powers.
Yeah.
You know, they're just going to come in with pistols and intimidate with her, and they think that she's just going to cower and succumb to their, restraint.
It seems
No.
like they just went in to kill her. Because, like you said, all they had was guns. What were they going to do?
Come on, guys. You should be going in there with, tranquilizers or something to get your shot off.
Like a big net?
And then, yeah, or just anything besides just coming in there with pistols. It's you're not going to kill her because she's a commodity that you want.
Yep.
So,
Exactly.
yeah, that was just a really silly part.
Yeah, but
they knew they were going to. Instead of two guys jumping in through the back like in the show, that part was just fun. They're like, stop right there. And then she just takes them out.
Yeah, it was silly.
Yeah,
but
with ease because she is telekinetic. It's very easy for her to do that.
I understand, though. I mean, that's hard because they wanted to push her getting away from them and meeting up with the boys. So, I mean, that's what I would that's a scenario that I would call that's just working at the writer's ease.
Yeah.
Essentially.
Yeah.
They knew that was there too.
know,
They had to know that little hole was there.
That's okay. I mean, I know I do it with my own writing sometimes because when you're thinking of a scene, you're thinking all of the alternatives that could happen in that particular moment. But yeah, just that one just kind of pissed me off a little bit, but it's okay.
I did like how in that scene they introduced her telekinetic abilities. How in the show she stops the fan that was squeaking.
Oh yeah, that's when you first know.
Yeah, in the screenplay she stops a door from swinging.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
So pretty cool how they threw that in there. I liked that.
No,
so subtle, but so
Simple.
cool.
Yeah.
It's nice.
So the next thing that we kind of all noticed when we've been comparing the screenplays in the movie, aside from the Demogorgon and other boys, we're looking into the whole nother storyline of Nancy and Steve.
Yes.
Yeah, so go over
They're
what happens in the
little-
show first. In
they're
the
little
show, what
love
happens with Nancy and Steve?
Yes. Okay, yeah. So in the show, of course, Nancy and Steve have this little lovable relationship so far, and Steve just shows up to her house room and just crawls to the window.
Yeah, because she's
And
supposed to be
that's when-
studying for a test or something
Yeah.
the next
Yeah.
day.
Mhm.
And he's a ninja.
And that's when they're hitting it off and just of course just being weird. Steve's just being weird. He until he gives up the weird part. But in the screenplay, he's even more weird.
Oh,
Yeah,
he's
you're right.
1,000 times more like aggressive.
Yeah, aggressive. Yeah.
Yeah, he pushes her in the screenplay pretty hard towards anything that he wants with her.
So what happened in the screenplay, which I think kind of spawned the idea of like the second episode where they go like to that dude's house, not the dude's there. They have this beach party, I guess is what they described it as, with like a giant campfire.
Yeah.
Then again, I think it's a Tuesday night again when she has.
It is a school night.
Yeah, and Will's missing, so like parents in town know a child has been missing, but yet all these kids are able to get out and throw a beach party on a school night.
And so Barb and Nancy show up, and immediately Steve just like takes Nancy off to the distant beach, and just basically just tries to hook up with her.
Yeah, not very romantic, to be honest.
No, not very romantic.
He was also described to
Didn't
be
say much.
stoned and drunk.
Yeah, he was stoned and drunk. Yeah.
Poor Steve.
He
But
just-
yeah, he was just.
He was aggressive. I
Yeah,
mean,
just
they
getting weird,
say in the
man. Weird.
screenplay he was pulling off her shirt, he was taking off his pants, he had a condom in his hand.
He was coming on to her. He
Yeah.
had an agenda he wanted to fulfill.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
to say the least.
And it's interesting how in the
But-
show though, Steve, his character is just nowhere near as creepy. He's
I'm glad they took that. They omitted that part.
I agree with that, Brian.
he has
absolutely.
like restraint in the show. Like he backs off. He's helping her study right at those points.
Yeah, but then again, it's still cringe.
Mm-hmm.
Steve.
You know, I think I heard that their original vision of Steve was that he was going to be just like, you know, the douchebag character. He was going to be a bad person.
He was going to be the character in
okay,
season 2.
always.
You guys remember the douchebag in season 2, the long-haired guy who wears like the denim?
Yeah,
I can't
yeah.
remember his name.
Yeah, the Canadian suit.
Whatever. Denim suit. Shout out to Canada. Gosh, I love our friends at the north of the border, but whatever. Yeah, so that character in season 2 was supposed to be how Steve was going to be in season 1, but they changed it actually because of the actor that was playing Steve. I read when he just came in and was reading lines, they just knew that he couldn't play this character that was this evil. They had to soften him up. You know, they gave Steve right. Steve redeems himself,
I guess.
in a way, in season 1.
I would never rock Steve's hairstyle.
I was just about to bring that up. His hair is just like it's too much. It's
Yeah,
like,
he's just doing a lot of Domino's commercials
there's
now.
so
Watch
much
out.
hair. Oh yeah.
He like still has the hair. Dude, get out of the role.
And to continue on with this beach scene, Barb just gets pissed off like she does in the show.
Yeah, she gets ghosted because Steve and Nancy just run away
Right.
to go, you know.
do their thing. And Barb gets mad, so she wants to leave. And as she goes to her car, and it seemed like the ignition wasn't working, all the lights don't work, and then just from the back window just breaks.
Well, the noises are there too, like
The guttural
Yeah.
like noises, yeah. So actually in the
This part's
pilot,
sweet.
yeah, in the pilot, Barb actually gets taken
Right.
to the Upside Down, and we get a glimpse of what the Upside Down looks like from her perspective.
Mm-hmm.
And there's actually a really cool description where she's standing on the beach and she can hear music and she can hear all the kids talking of what
Scary.
Yeah, that would be scary as shit.
Do you want me to read it?
All right, yeah, sure, go ahead.
So it says, Barbara stumbles out onto the beach. Her face is pale and blood pours from her nose and her ears. She crashes to a halt, looks around for help, desperate. But there is no bonfire, no kids, no party, yet somehow impossibly she can hear the sound of music, of kids talking, laughing. Only it all sounds far away, like a distant memory. So that's pretty cool, right?
Yeah.
And then
That is really cool.
they go on to describe a little bit of what the Upside Down looks like, and this is what we have. A dense fog has drifted in from the Atlantic, and the waves roll in slowly, much slower than normal, as if the world now moves at a quarter speed. The wet sand is covered in more of those strange, throbbing growths, and the sky is shrouded in dark clouds. Electric blue lightning flashes, streaking the sky. And then we find out that Barbara hears something wet, guttural. These are those noises, right? Those noises you hear in the show where it sounds almost like a computer, right? Something like that. But she turns, and obscured beneath the fog, she sees a horde of shadowed figures, tall, disfigured, and one of them walks.
Plural.
One of them walks on all fours. Yeah, so there's multiple figures, and they're coming this way. They're coming for her, and she screams, and then we cut.
And that was crazy because in the show that we know in the first season, we only have the one Demogorgon, as the kids call it.
Yep.
Yep.
And then in this, they're offering that there's a horde of them.
Yeah. Terrifying.
Which, I mean, in season 2, we do get, like, I guess you
The
could say a
dogs,
horde, right?
Those dog thingies, yeah.
But, I mean, in the first season, that would have been dope.
Oh, that would have been cool. I mean, just
Hell
reading.
yeah.
When I read that first time through earlier this morning, like, I was just like, wow. Like, why wasn't that in the show?
I know.
Oh.
At least introduce that part, like, when she got taken, even though it was like that second episode, I think. Second or third, I'm not sure.
I think it was the second one, because she gets
Yeah, I
taken.
can't remember.
It's by the pool, because I think it's
Right.
Steve's throwing a party or something.
And they're attracted to blood. That's how we know that they come from dimension to dimension,
Really?
is that they can
okay.
smell blood, or they can sense blood, right? Because she cuts
okay.
her hand on the beer can.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And what, you think just Will, after he took that beef off his bike?
Oh, no, because it was just out there running around.
That was just, he was at the wrong place at the wrong time.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
And geez, watching that scene in the show is terrifying too.
Yeah, it was good.
When you get the glimpse of the creature,
It's a good cut.
Awesome, man.
they did a very good job.
I thought those were compared and contrast, if you guys would agree. I'm just going to hit it with my final thoughts of what I think about Stranger Things.
Do it.
Once it came out, I was all for it, especially the storyline and plot, of course, like you guys said at the beginning. Just the kid aspect, and it's just like, oh, just being a kid and like playing these games and having the imagination aspect. It still runs today, but most importantly, it'd probably be like the music. Because like as a creator, I'd probably say like this is kind of like a style that I have been making recently, like that whole synthwave, chillwave type stuff. Real cool. So much fun to make. The sounds are amazing. You can do a lot of stuff with it.
The music,
like that 80s vibe, like you said again, it's just like such an iconic.
it gives you chills, right? The style.
Yeah, dude, it's the style. Oh, 100%. But as reading it again, it was a great screenplay to me. Just like because I love the show, so I was gonna like reading and how it all came together. But here's a thought for you guys: would you think this would be as successful feature film rather than a TV show?
I mean, that's a good question, because with the feature film, you're only limited to what you can do, and as far as a TV show is, you can extend, of course, the narrative.
In a movie, you got 90 to,
2 hours.
150 minutes, something like that. That's 2.5 hours, 150 minutes. Whereas in a TV show, you can do 600 minutes, 60-minute episodes. Like, that's so much time.
I mean, I probably, if this was limited to only a movie, I probably would have liked it, but I would imagine it would be a long movie.
Yeah, but we've already said too. It's kind of been a movie. It's been a movie before, because Firestarter with Drew Barrymore in 1983 or whatever, 84.
Right. Yeah.
Same, very similar concept, right?
Yeah. It fits more for a show, though.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I think that's what would carry this is a show or a movie. The concept is just so cool.
Yeah. What do you got, Matt?
Iconic.
Yeah, I mean, we kind of just talked about it. I love the idea of the show. Everything about it is so good. Anything with kids and writing and storytelling, I love, especially when it has horror aspects like this. You take kids who have wild imaginations as is, and then you throw them into a scary situation and you make them try to get out of it, without help in some situations, which is why this parallels to It a lot, right?
Yeah.
And yeah, I love it. I can't wait to see what they do season 3 and apparently season 4, right? Like we said. It's going to be weird, I guess, watching these kids grow up, but it is what it is. That's just something I guess you have to deal with when you make something like this and you're trying to stretch it out over time. Kids are going to get older.
Factor, yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I love it. I can't wait to see what they do. We got 3 months, so we'll see. 4 months.
Yeah. No, like always, good comments, guys. I agree with what you said. For me, I mean, this is a good horror script. This is the second time I've read it. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And the things that I take away from this are, like we said earlier, it's just a good template to learn kids' dialogue.
Oh, I was just going to bring that up. I'm glad you did.
I mean, because we're not far from being kids, but we're at a stage of our life where we just don't talk like that anymore, right?
Mm-hmm.
Something I want to bring up. There's a scene in the show, and this is in the screenplay too. It's when Hopper is talking to Mike and the 2 other kids, and this is after Will is missing. And they're all trying to talk at once, and he's like, guys, like, one at a time. And that's something that kids do. Like, you have to tell them, like, shut the hell up, one at a time, you little fart. Like, I'm trying to get some information from you.
Yeah, the character development is great.
The bickering between the kids, it was just spot on.
Yeah. So yeah, like I said, the template, it's been a good template for me to learn kids' dialogue, smooth scene transitions, like how we said earlier, as far as trying to view it from an editor's perspective, and just knowing how to write good atmospheric horror. I mean, this specific screenplay has been really good for me because I've been working on a horror feature for a couple of years now that headlines for kids.
Yeah, similarly stars for boys.
Yeah.
Of a similar age.
Exactly. So this helped me a lot, and can only hope for the best, really.
Yeah,
for my own
I'll
stuff.
say something about your work, because I don't want to sit here and talk about your, I
don't want to do that either.
We don't have to, but I will say that your dialogue, I would say, compares very well to this. For me reading your stuff, the way that your kids interact it's just believable, and it's the way these kids interact in Stranger Things.
I definitely need a reread on that. Definitely.
Oh hell yeah, man!
Just to get that fresh up, but it's sweet. It's sweet to take it to like another level that you're like, okay, this is a screenplay, but what do I take from this? I mean, I do that with music too. Like I listen to a song, I'm like, how did they do this? How did they do that? But
yeah, exactly.
It's a whole other conversation I can have.
Hey, I mean, if you want to be successful, you have to look at what other people are doing and say, hey, they did this good, and then you take a few ideas, you combine it together, and I mean, that's how like punk rock was created, right? That's how all these new things are created.
Absolutely. Like we said earlier, when I just said it as being a writer, stealing from other stuff that has been produced. It's not just being a writer. It's doing anything, whether it's creative or anything that you do in your life. You look at what other people have done before you, and you steal what they were good at, and you implement it into your own things of what you're doing.
Yep.
Oh, exactly.
No matter what platform you're using to listen to us, I just want it to be known that we're available on iTunes, Spreaker, and YouTube. So if you like our content, please be sure to follow all of our channels so you can stay in the loop with new episodes. Also, feel free to give us a rating and leave us comments, or send us an email at screenplayjunkie.show@gmail.com. We'd love to hear your feedback. Also, if you have any recommendations of screenplays we should read, movies we should watch, or really anything, let us know on any of our platforms. We're always looking for other things to check out. On the next episode, we're going to be taking a look at the 2004 Will Ferrell comedy, Anchorman. Thank you for listening. We hope you can join us next time.
I love lamp.